Who's scruffy looking?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Talking with My Hans channel. Another special video coming for you today. It's the 200 subscriber special, our audio commentary for Attack of the Clones. I never thought I'd get to 200 subscribers, but we'll get into that in a second. Of course, we are watching on Disney Plus. We did the same thing for our 100 subscribers special, which was the Phantom Menace. 300 subscribers, if we ever do get there, will be Revenge of the Sith, and then Rogue One, and then A New Hope. Hopefully, we keep growing and growing and growing. But again, we are watching on Disney Plus, so you can watch along with us. I have the timestamp at 000000. Okay, we're gonna press play here in 3, 2, 1. So, where do I even begin? As the 20th Century Fox logo comes up and we go through the whole opening crawl, I just want to get some housekeeping things out of the way. I know this is boring for you guys. I know you want to hear me talk about the Lucasfilm logo and what's about to show up on the screen for the crawl, but I do have to take a second and thank all of you for subscribing to the channel. I don't know how many subscribers we're at right now. We're at just over 200. It's like 229 or something like that. But in any case, did you hear me just burp there? That was annoying. In any case, this is not something I do for money. This is not something I do for ad revenue. This is not something I do to get likes or shares or anything like that. I literally make Star Wars videos because I like making Star Wars videos and I like meeting people that also like Star Wars. So the fact that over 200 of you thought that it was worthwhile to hit the subscribe button on the channel is, wow, it's absolutely mind-blowing to me that you guys think that my channel is worth your time. And I hope that I can keep living up to that. We have a lot planned for July. We have a lot planned for August, September, October, and so on and so on and so on. So I hope you guys stick around because I do have a lot of videos coming up. And I also have to thank everybody over on Twitter that is following me over there. I have over 1,300 followers on Twitter, and that is just remarkable. That's a huge number. I don't know 1,300 people in real life, and you guys are just, guess one of my best friends now over there on Twitter, which is just absolutely fantastic. I know this is boring you. I know we're getting into the movie now, but I just had to tell you guys really thank you for all your patronage, your comments, your likes, your views on the videos. I love hearing you comment. I love seeing your comments. I love replying to your comments. Um, it's just been a really good month, and I never thought we'd be doing a 200 subscriber special so soon. It's only been a month or so um, since the last video, and maybe it'll be even sooner when we do Revenge of the Sith. It's looking that way. It's looking that way, folks, that we'll be doing Revenge of the Sith sometime in July. So that's really cool. But hope you got your popcorn ready. Hope you got your coffee. I got mine right over here. Hope you got something to snack on. It's a long movie, Attack of the Clones. Statistically speaking, as we get into the movie commentary, this is actually my least favorite Star Wars movie. I hate to break it to you guys. I have shared my list over on Twitter, so you can go check that out if you haven't been subscribed but not on following me on Twitter, or vice versa. You can check out my list. Attack of the Clones is last. The Phantom Menace was actually second to last, so we're getting my two least favorite Star Wars movies out of the way very early. I can't say I chose the chronological order for that reason, but that's just the way it is. Well, here we are, the opening scene and some early action here in Attack of the Clones. This is one of those scenes that I look at and is really sad because I know that the handmaidens really took the brunt of this one, and after reading both Queen's Shadow and Queen's Peril, which we talked about at length during the Phantom Menace audio commentary, but this is just extra sad to me because you grow attached to the handmaidens after reading those books, and it's just a shame to see them go. Like this is just really a shame. But Captain Typho, he was featured in Queen's Shadow. Not Queen's Peril so much, but Queen's Shadow, he was around. Captain Typho is, of course, oh, I'm drawing a blank. He's the nephew, the guy from the Phantom Menace. Wow, why can't I think of that guy's name? This is embarrassing. Right off the bat, I can't think of anybody's name. But that's a sad opening scene, open up Attack of the Clones. It's really a shame. But now we get into the dregs of Attack of the Clones, which is the politics aspect. Even though I am a sucker for the politics in Star Wars, I just wish they were done a little bit better. They come off really stale. I think George Lucas did action very well. I think he did funny dialogue very well. He kept these movies lighthearted. But now that we're getting into this political stuff here in these next two movies, it kind of falls a little short, at least in my opinion. You might think something else, and that's totally fine, but this is just my opinion on it. A lot of Clone Wars veterans right here in the shot. There's Barriss Offee, which is a shame that obviously she goes to the dark side in the Clone Wars, but it's just very interesting seeing her. I totally forgot she was in this scene. Of course, Kit Fisto's there, Luminar is there, Ki-Adi-Mundi's there. This is definitely a lot of Clone Wars veterans in this one. And then we have more Clone Wars veterans walking through. Masameda, here comes Natalie Portman as Padme Amidala. There's our first Count Dooku name drop of the movie. Um, if you haven't listened to Jedi Lost, the audiobook, um, or if you haven't read the screenplay, it is so worth the listen. Count Dooku gets this whole another layer of character to him. It really is an eye-opening listen or read, whichever you choose. This movie gets a huge boost from that book, I gotta say, because obviously this movie features Count Dooku very prominently. And in the movie Attack of the Clones, you might think something totally different, which is fine. I'm going to be saying that a lot over the next couple hours just because Attack of the Clones is my least favorite. And there are a lot of parts of this movie that I just think are stale. And I like Count Dooku, but I think in this movie he comes across as just sort of like a meh villain. The villains in the prequels are sort of meh, except for Palpatine, of course. It was brilliant as usual. But a lot of the prequel villains are a little meh, I guess. Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace was cool, but meh. Count Dooku is an interesting character because he's an ex-Jedi and he's a political idealist, but he was kind of meh just in the movies if you look at them in a vacuum. But now that we have Jedi Lost in canon, I think it adds a whole great layer to him. Him and Qui-Gon's character. Here we have a great scene between Anakin and Obi-Wan, where they share a little laugh before they go meet Padme again for the first time in 10 years, which is crazy. Um, but I gotta say, this is one of those scenes that I look back on in Star Wars and I think, wow, I wish we had more moments between Anakin and Obi-Wan in the movies that were more lighthearted, that showed their friendship, that showed who they were as people. Because even though in the end it's very sad that they split, they could have spent so much more time together in the movies. They spend a lot of time apart, especially in this movie. They're apart the whole movie, pretty much. They split up in the next, I don't know, half hour or so, and then they don't see each other until the end of the movie. So it would be great to see them together more. But that's why we have the Clone Wars, which made Attack of the Clones way better than it was when it came out in 2002. But we'll get into that as the movie goes on, I'm sure. Both Clone Wars 2008 and Clone Wars 2003. There's a great awkward exchange between Padme and Anakin. This is one of those things about the movie that I really don't like is the interactions between Anakin and Padme. Obviously, the defense is that Anakin is just very awkward around women, which makes sense because he hasn't grown up with anybody that happened to be female that he really liked, except for Padme. So I guess you can make that excuse, but still, it's a movie. Can we have some decent dialogue? Speaking of Anakin, this is Hayden Christensen's first appearance as Anakin, who we all love dearly, who I was personally ashamed we didn't see at all in the sequel trilogy, not just in The Rise of Skywalker, but in the whole sequel trilogy. I was surprised that we didn't get almost any Hayden Christensen except for that one line towards the end of The Rise of Skywalker at the end scene, so I'm a little bit ashamed about that. But obviously, after these two movies came out, he was pretty hated on, and that was really a shame. It's nothing new to Star Wars fans, which is really a shame because Star Wars fans have a tendency to just bully people out of the franchise. But he has come around. The fans have come around. He got that great standing ovation at Star Wars Celebration a couple years ago, which was just one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen. I watch a lot of sports, and there's a lot of cool moments in that, but seeing Hayden Christensen getting a standing O at Star Wars Celebration was absolutely amazing. I'm sorry if I'm slurring my words. I'm not drinking, I promise. I don't have my Coors with me tonight, but I don't know, it's just sort of late at night. Thought about sitting down, watching Attack of the Clones. Sure, I'm not alone there. Everybody's had those nights, but they just want to sit down and watch a Star Wars movie, and again, hopefully that's this night for you guys. I'm gonna get a drink here. Hopefully that doesn't bother any of you. That's good. Ooh, Wessel Scene. Wessel, interesting character. Interesting character, Wessel. Someone who we don't see a whole heck of a lot of. This is her only appearance in Star Wars. Even in the comics, never got a whole heck of a lot of her. Obviously, Django knows her pretty well. I hope that we get some sort of Wessel content in the future because I think she's a really neat little character. One of those characters in Star Wars that's definitely fits the bill of the is in the movie for 30 seconds and is a fan favorite character. I I think I think that she can fit her way in. Maybe in the next 40 years when we get a 40 years of Attack of the Clones from a certain point of view, that'll be really cool. But that won't be until well, this movie came out in 2002, so it'll be 2042 when that book comes out. Holy cow. How old will you be in 2042? Don't leave it in the comments. Just keep it to yourself because you might scare me. See, the first act of this movie has some really great Anakin and Obi-Wan moments. Obviously, the chase coming up in a little bit is a great Anakin and Obi-Wan moment. An all-time Anakin and Obi-Wan moment. But the first act of this movie really just highlights their friendship. This scene that we're watching right now in particular, where Obi-Wan consoles Anakin about the dreams he's having about his mother, it really shows how much Obi-Wan does care for Anakin. And I don't know what happened in production or what happened in the script, or I just don't know how it fell apart, but they just move away and you don't see their friendship. You get this opening act of Attack of the Clones. You get the opening act of Revenge of the Sith where they have this really great dynamic between the two of them while they rescue the Chancellor, and that's pretty much it, except for the Clone Wars. And it's a shame because as popular as the Clone Wars is, still I would think there's a good population of Star Wars fans that have not seen it. So they're only getting the Anakin and Obi-Wan we see in the movie. So just saying, if I was there, it would have been different. I'm just saying. However, the one thing about the prequels that I do sometimes agree with when I see it come up on Twitter or Instagram or whatnot is how they should have just scrapped episode one and this should have been episode one and then have a whole Clone Wars style movie and not have there be such a big gap between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Hopefully that made sense in words. It makes sense in my head. Sleeping Natalie Portman. I think those things on the floor are supposed to be sensors. As a kid, I never knew what they were. I just thought it was cool lighting. But I think those are actually sensors on the ground, which is why the bugs are able to go under them. Like if a person was walking through there, it would have tripped the alarm. I don't know why I just said that. I just thought it was cool lighting as a kid, but as a kid watched this movie in 4 or 5 pixels at a time. So now it's in beautiful 4K. I can see all these little details. This is actually one of those movies, Attack of the Clones, and this will not be the last time I say this during this movie, that looks better in a 4:3 ratio on VHS than it does in 4K, because this is probably the movie that holds up the least well out of all of the Star Wars movies, I gotta be honest. The Phantom Menace holds up very well to today's movie standards, but that's because they use a lot of miniatures. It's a lot more practical than a lot of people think it is, but this one is almost all green screen. Now, granted, this did change the way that movies were made, and that it made green screens more accessible and more appropriate to use in films, but still, this holds up the least best, especially when you watch by today's standards. Don't mind me if I go a little silent. I'm just enjoying the movie the same way you guys are. This scene especially, this is one of my favorite scenes from Attack of the Clones, this whole chase scene, and then Zam Wessel goes over here, pulls out her gun, tries to shoot down Obi-Wan. Has some great little laughs in here. I wish this is one of those guns that made it into Battlefront. I love this gun. Great scope, too. Super cool. I do gotta say, though, even though this movie doesn't hold up great in some scenes, like the CGI and the green screen is very obvious, the Coruscant scenes are really something. This is Coruscant's best movie, I think. It just looks great in this movie. It's Obi-Wan falling with style, as they might say. Well done, Anakin. We just scoop him up there. Great catch. Ah, that's good. That's real good. See, where was this great banter between Anakin and Obi-Wan for the rest of the prequels, huh? Can someone answer me that? I love this scene. This is just it's just hilarious. This scene especially where he starts laughing and he's going down. Here it comes. He freaks out. I love it. Obi-Wan's so jumpy. This movie's just great. I really don't. There are some parts of this movie that are like super weird and I don't like, but there are some parts of this movie that are just fantastic, and this is one of those scenes. Actually, a lot of the scenes that get really weird, like, aren't until later in the movie. Like, you'd think that they'd save all the good scenes for last, but that's really not the case. This is another great moment. I love that. Look at those neons that's spinning around right there. That's really cool. Well done, ILM, on episode 2 Attack of the Clones. At least on Coruscant. For everything else, yeah, I don't know. Naboo, ILM, you could have done better. Coruscant, though, well done. Now, if you have not watched my interviews yet with Death Star Dispatch, who I did at the time of this recording, not too long ago, and then I'll be doing another one coming up tomorrow, which will be Friday the. Let me check my calendar. Friday the 10th. I will be on a podcast. If you haven't catch any of those interviews, I was not. I was old enough to see this movie in theaters. However, I did not. I was not a Star Wars fan until about 2006 ish. Definitely a Star Wars fan after Revenge of the Sith. I did not see any of the prequels in the theaters, which might surprise some of you, but I did not actually see any of these in the theaters. But I have been a Star Wars fan for a long time. Definitely after Revenge of the Sith, I became a Star Wars fan. And these were the movies I grew up on. These three, the three that we're watching right now: Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, and then of course Revenge of the Sith. So I do have a warm spot for these movies. They're a little campy, but I do have a warm spot. But as you can imagine, seeing this movie in theaters must have been quite the experience. I would imagine that the original trilogy folk didn't like this movie too much. It might have been a little bit too outside Star Wars for them. Uh, Everybody that I see that grew up with these movies, though, kind of liked them for what they were. You know, we knew that they were not great, but they still liked them just because they were Star Wars and it was their Star Wars. And you know what? Maybe I said this during the Phantom Menace one too, but the the people that grew up with these movies and the people that grow up with the sequels are going to be the same way when they get older. They're going to say that that the sequels are the best, or that these movies were the best, because that's what they grew up with. It's all nostalgia. So to try and objectify one of these movies or a trilogy of these movies to say that they're the best is just irresponsible. Thanks. Like this scene, not great. This scene does not have some great CGI. But I do love the underworld of Coruscant. I do love that. Of course, we all wanted to see 1313, the underworld of Coruscant, but we've got some great underworld content since then. Some really cool underworld content, especially in the Clone Wars. And some of that stuff was good, especially in season 7 with the Trace and Rafa stuff. I liked all the visuals there. This must have been cool in theaters to see the underworld of Coruscant, all the nightclubs and stuff. It's a really neat looking scene. It almost feels a little earthly. I think this underworld of Coruscant feels the most like a place that you could go in real life, like maybe like some back alleys in New York City or some place that is a little bit sketchy, but is still a pretty cool place. Anyway, that might be my favorite line from Attack of the Clones. Why you get the why I get the feeling you're gonna be the death of me. That's a little on the nose, but I think it's still funny. I like it. I get an Ahmed Best appearance here in a little bit, if you keep your eyes out. And an Anthony Daniels appearance, so keep your eyes out for that. For a drink. I love Obi-Wan. Top 5 favorite Star Wars character. Here she goes. There's Ahmed Best. Amazing. This movie's so weird. Who thought of this movie? What was 2002 or 2001? No! When did this movie start filming? 2000, I think. God, that must have been a weird time. Ladies checking Anakin out. Ladies checking Anakin out on Twitter, that's for dang sure. That's good stuff. I hope you're enjoying the movie, everybody. We are almost a half hour in now. This movie's just flying by. Ooh, there's Anthony Daniels. There's Ahmed Best. And of course, there's Ewan McGregor. who, no doubt, carried the prequels. Don't quote me on that, but I think we all know that not Ahmed Best, but kind of Ahmed Best, but Ewan McGregor definitely carries the prequels. Oh, Anakin, that's nice of you to be nice. Obi-Wan's had enough of it. Changelings are one of the coolest things that Star Wars has ever had to offer. So cool. I really love that arc from the Clone Wars with the Changeling. They sneak into the Jedi Temple. I think that was the season 2? Season 2 premiere? With Cad Bane, they sneak into the Jedi Temple to get the holocron. Season 2 or 3. It was one of the premieres. One of my favorite Clone Wars premieres, actually. If you're still watching with us, we're at timestamp 25:15. Just keeping you guys updated. That's what I'm all about here. Just make sure you're keeping up with the movie. Here's our first grade. Hayden Christensen and Ian McDermott scene as Palpatine and Anakin. I think these two have such great chemistry in these two movies that they're in, Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones. I don't know how they casted Hayden Christensen. I don't know the story behind that. I don't know if he showed up and he was the last choice. I don't know what happened, but out of all the things that the prequels did right and wrong, casting Hayden Christensen the as Anakin Skywalker was a brilliant move. First of all, because he had great chemistry with Ian McDermott, which is obviously a must need. But the fact that he is very monotoned and that he stands very tall and that he does have flashes of brilliance really speaks to the person that Darth Vader is. I think a lot of people give Hayden Christensen a little bit of crap because he was not, animated enough, that he was not upbeat enough, and that maybe he was a little bit too stale, but Darth Vader's very stale. Darth Vader never changes his voice inflection, and it's the same guy, so I think Hayden played it perfectly. I really do. And then, of course, Matt Lanter follows this up with the Clone Wars, and I think he gave his own great, rendition of Anakin Skywalker. Some people like the Matt Lanter Anakin Skywalker more than the Hayden Christensen Anakin Skywalker. So both actors did a great job. Jar Jar, though, becoming a senator, probably not the best decision Star Wars has ever made. Not Star Wars, but the people in Star Wars. Jar Jar as a senator, I probably wouldn't vote for him. Probably wouldn't vote for him, but good dude. Not senatorial material. Ooh, Padme's sassy in this scene. I will give this scene. This scene's probably one of the better ones I think of out of the romantic scenes between her and him. It's a little creepy. It's a little creepy when Anakin starts staring and he gives her that face. I don't like it either. But right here, where he's talking to her and he's being honest with her, and it's an interesting scene because I don't know how many people Anakin had growing up. He kind of flips out here. Padme's clearly spooked, but like, how many people did Anakin have growing up in his life? How many people, not counting Obi-Wan, was Anakin friends with? He was so far and beyond everybody at the temple. I guess you can imagine that he probably didn't have a whole heck of a lot of friendships at the temple. He didn't have anybody he could go and complain to. He didn't have anybody he could, you know, let some steam off with. Then he gets a couple moments with Padme, who is maybe his one friend outside the Jedi Temple that he can be honest with and can be open with and knows him and understands him. And the fact that he blows up on her here and is a little bit creepy and is just being honest with her, it's understandable because I think Anakin's relationships are skimpy. I don't know the right word. They're not non-existent, but they're definitely few and far between. So, you know, that's my thoughts on that, everybody. Thank you for listening. You can shut the video off now. I'm kidding. Please stay. Please stay. Watch the whole video. Have your popcorn out. I wish I had popcorn right now. And of course, if you've made it this far, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, tell your friend to subscribe to the channel, tell your uncles to subscribe to the channel, tell your sisters to subscribe, tell everybody to subscribe. It seems like such a small gesture, but it really helps the channel grow. You have no idea how much it means to get a like and a subscribe. It really does mean a lot. This is an interesting little tidbit from this movie. It's not canon, but in my head, it's an interesting thought because this is Anakin's first mission as a Jedi by himself. And I can't help but imagine that Anakin thought his first mission would be this grand, extravagant plan out in a distant world, with his big lightsaber fight and a battle and all this. Because that's the kind of guy Anakin is, Anakin kind of expects the greatest and the grandest, but he walks off that shuttle in the middle of a cargo depot, and that's his first mission. Something to be said for that. Maybe lower expectations, maybe take it easy. I don't know what the correct one-to-one translation is, but there's a message in there somewhere. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I do have a Dexter Jetster action figure. I do. Actually, I have a lot of Attack of the Clones action figures. I have Captain Typho. I have Luminara. I have Shakti. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of Attack of the Clones action figures. Dexter Jetster, one of my favorites. He's not in any of the shots on my channel, but he is up on the shelf off to the left of me that none of you have seen yet. But maybe I'll do a collection tour one of these days. Not yet, though. Not yet. I don't think that's exciting enough. We do have a lot of stuff planned, though, for July. We'll get into it, though. Mm. It's a shame that there wasn't more Dexter. I would have loved to see Dexter in the Clone Wars show up at least once, but I guess not. Guess it just wasn't in the cards. Would have been cool to see Obi-Wan go back, though. The diner does show up in some canon material, but I really do want to see Dexter come back. I don't know. I don't know when he will, but maybe Dexter Jettster in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? Maybe? Is that going too far? Is that too much to ask for? I feel like Obi-Wan could use a friend. I think Dexter's a great guy. I don't know if he would leave Tatooine to go see Dexter, but there's something in there. I think I'd like to see that, actually. Here's a Jocasta New appearance. A lot of Jocasta New fans out there. I know there are. She's a cool Jedi. I can't lie. I love Jocasta New. I don't know how you make a librarian cool, but Star Wars did it. She was great in the Clone Wars. Absolutely fantastic. And her in the comics. Oh my God, Jocasta New in the Vader comics? Guys, it really doesn't get much better than that. She was absolutely amazing. And her archive system was great. George Lucas's son. But we're starting to unravel the plot here. The mystery plot that is Attack the Clones starting very early. Meanwhile, at this box table, Anakin's probably bugging out. I can't imagine how Anakin feels. I really don't. On a date with this girl he's dreamed about for 10 years. That's gonna be nerve wracking, huh? What do you think that seems like for a girl? If you're a girl, comment below. What's it like to be told that you haven't changed at all? The dream comment was a little creepy, though. That was uncalled for. Just call me Trevor. Ayla. This is one of my favorite scenes, too. I love Yoda and the kids. Mm. Anybody else wants to think? Oh my goodness, guys, I can't speak. Does anybody else want this thing in their room? Whenever I watch this movie, I always think, "Dang, that'd be really cool to have in your room." That star mat that just lights up in the middle of the room. Can someone invent that, please? Anybody know anybody that can invent that? That'd be so cool to have. Another interesting thought here between the Padawans and Obi-Wan and Yoda. The Padawans have not yet been Jedi for a long time. Their minds are very open, they're very clear. I think it shows that divide starting to happen in the Jedi, where the older Jedi like Obi-Wan and Yoda and Mace Windu are getting a little bit more clouded. They're getting a little bit more inward self-thinking, and they can't see the simple things like that Kamino was erased from the archives. They're starting to lose their way a little bit. Maybe not starting, but maybe they have lost their way. And that's one of the main symbols we see of it, where like these kids can figure it out very easily, but Obi-Wan and Yoda takes them a minute. I think it's that subtle cue that the Jedi are not what they used to be. Now back on Naboo. Naboo, I have an up and down relationship with as a fan. I don't know if I love it or if I hate it. I don't know. It's just one of those planets that you go to all the time in the prequels, and then I watch all the time. Maybe I love it. I don't know. Well, what do you like Naboo? Does anybody here like Naboo or no? I don't know. Somebody help me out here. Run through the plot of Queen Shadow real quick there. Again, great book. Haven't read it. Make sure you read it. Governor Seal Bibble. What a guy. What a guy. Where's all my Seal Bibble lovers at? I love Seal Bibble. That actor, I don't know his name, was in Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, one of those campy Shakespeare films. I remember seeing him in grade school once. We played Hamlet or a Shakespeare or one of those stupid movies where like they try and modernize it and he's in it. I was like, I was sitting in the back of the class. I go, "There's Seal Bibble," and my friend turns to me and goes, "Who is that?" I'm like, Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's in Star Wars though." Oh, rip. Padme just burned that guy. Oh, burned him for a second time. Oh, burned him for a third time. That's a good job, Anakin. Just swallow your pride there. It's the best thing to do in that situation. He handled it perfectly. He handled it like a man. He was a little bit hurt there for a second, but he came around. Anakin came around. He knows. I do love the Delta 7 interceptor. I'm a sucker for the Delta 7. What was the game that came out with the Delta 7? Jedi Starfighter, that's it. Cool game, Jedi Starfighter. Cool game. PS2 game. Really cool. Loved it. Bet you a lot of you guys played that game. I did. Also Camino, really cool planet. I love Camino. I love Camino. I don't know why. The music's great. The planet's cool. I'm not really a big Rain fan, but I don't know. Oh, and if you don't think I have my Ton Wii action figure out, I do. Lamasu and Ton Wii. Yep, got my Ton Wii action figure. It's right up there to my right. You guys can't see it, but it's right up there. If you're wondering where I get all my action figures, eBay, folks. eBay, ladies and gentlemen. This scene, very interesting. With Sifo Dyas and the Jedi and his order. I don't know how audiences must have felt sitting in the theater watching this scene because this is a very important scene. It has that gravity to it. You know, there is no music. The focus is very much on the conversation. How do you feel as a fan when you go in and you sit down and watch Attack of the Clones and we start hearing about the army and Sifo Dyas and all that. Like, I get the army's supposed to be the surprise here, but like, how do you just ignore the Sifo Dyas name drop? Like, as a fan who's probably never heard this in 2002, how do you just be like, who? Like, I'd be like, who's that? Who are we talking about? Did I miss something? Did I miss half an hour of the movie? Like, that's what it feels like. Now, I'm glad that we got more Sifo Dyas, like, in canon, and he is fantastic in Jedi Lost, which is why I recommend that you all read that or listen to it preferably, but it, it's one of those things with Attack of the Clones that I really don't like is that one scene. I love it and I hate it at the same time because as an avid Star Wars fan, obviously I know Sifo Dyas, I know the story, I know how it's done, but like when I try to sit down and watch Star Wars with somebody for the first time, which I have shown Star Wars to three or four people for the first time, we've sat down and watched the whole thing together for the first time, and you have to like blow over that scene. You have to be like, don't worry about Sifo Dyas. Don't worry about this whole thing. It's like if the president went to McDonald's and put it on your tab. It's like one of those things. I don't know. It, it's hard to explain that scene to fans. And this scene is a little bit harder to explain to fans because they just gets a little weird. The back. I'm getting chills right now. Whew. Thanks. I wouldn't like that if I was Padme, but obviously she's into it. Yikes, Anakin. Keep your mouth closed, kid. I will have to say though, Across the Stars, best part of this movie. Best part. Hands down, for sure. I love this. I love the Camino visuals. I love all of this. Super cool. It might just because I played Lego Star Wars all the bunch, and this is one of the first missions for Attack of the Clones. It might be the first mission for Attack of the Clones, but it's so cool. But like this is one of those scenes also where like the CG does just not hold up in 4K. Taun We, Lama Su look terrible, but young Daniel Logan in the seats, pretty cool. There's that IL patch on the the clones that showed up in the Mandalorian there for a second that everybody was kind of freaking out about, and then we haven't really heard anything since then about it. You guys remember that when they took the child into that to see the scientist, and the scientist had the cloning logo on his thing. They were definitely trying to clone Baby Yoda. So I hadn't heard anything about that. It was a good freak out moment there for a while, but maybe we'll get something about that in season two. Maybe we'll see. People must have been freaking out. Oh my God, there's the stormtroopers. But really cool. Not sure if I like the phase one or the phase two armor. I like the phase one if they're all white and then like the sergeants and the lieutenants and the commanders all have different colors. I kind of like that about the phase one armor, but the phase two armor I think has the cooler design. Yeah, I like that the commanders are in yellow. I love that. Who doesn't love a good picnic by the Naboo waterfalls? This is an interesting scene too. I love the foreshadowing in it. Yes, I love the foreshadowing. This movie was marketed as the movie that makes Darth Vader, and in a way it is. In a way it's not, but the foreshadowing is there. Obviously, this scene is part of that. Anakin's joking, but it's kind of nice. Across the Stars, man. What a great song. John Williams' finest work. Well, maybe not his finest, but it's close. Top five, probably. There he is. Oh, roll around in the grass. Oh, you're gonna get grass stains, you guys. Oh, no. Oh, that's weird. Why is it so on the nose, this movie with the romance scenes? This would have been so much better if it was like subtle, subtle, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But instead, they roll around in the grass, and then Padme ends up on top of Anakin. George Lucas, man, what a guy. Someone had to check him in some of these movies, but no one did. No one did. There's Boba Fett. I bet you all the fanboys are loving the Boba Fett reference. I love that. But let me tell you something. Daniel Logan, he was another one of those guys that really got hated on when this movie came out because he had never seen Star Wars, but now he's seen it. Now he's great. Star Wars Twitter, Daniel Logan is the man. He's funny. Tamora Morrison, he might make an appearance again in Star Wars coming up in The Mandalorian season 2. Obviously, he was rumored not too long ago, maybe for Ahsoka and Rex come back. There is something I gotta say about this scene though, and it's coming up. Let's just sit and enjoy it for now, and then I'll tell you guys when this scene's over what I think about this scene. So here's my question. If anybody wants to answer this, you are more than welcome to do so in the comments below. Here we go. So Jango Fett asks Obi-Wan if he likes his clone army. Obi-Wan has a measured response and says, "Well, I'd love to see them in action." Jango Fett says, "Oh, they'll do their job well. I can guarantee that." Is he aware? Is Jango Fett aware that Order 66 is going to happen? Does Jango Fett know that they put the inhibitor chip in each of his clones to make them kill all the Jedi? And is that what he's referencing? That they will kill all the Jedi and they'll do their job because they do it very well. What do we think? What do we think? I think yes. Obviously, that's why I'm asking the question, but I want to get your guys' opinion on it. The CGI pair. This makes me uncomfortable. Why couldn't they just get a real pair? Look at Ew. Did you just see that? That CGI going in her mouth? That's so gross. I hate that. I hate that. Oh, it's so weird. And then this scene's so uncomfortable. I hate it. Oh my god. Here's my thing, guys. I'm super positive. I love being positive on Star Wars Twitter. And Star Wars is already, I'm going to pick this movie to watch over a lot of other movies out there. But boy, it's not without its flaws. This scene, especially, man, this thing makes me cringe. It makes me cringe from beginning to end. Just the way they're moving and like their body language and oof, is it really well acted or it's just really poorly written? I don't know what it is, but dang, it's awkward. Padme looks good though. Anakin's a simp. Yes, I am. Padme, you didn't get all dressed up like that just to say no to Anakin. I hate to break it to you. Is that a real fire, you think? What do we think about this, guys? Real fire back there? Gotta be, right? Not real wood, definitely not, but it's gotta be real fire. The lighting's too natural. It just seems so weird. Like it just seems so blocky. Like they're not even like being human beings about it. Like it just the dialogue's really weird. Like it's not even just Anakin. Like you can't even see like Anakin's like, oh sure, well sure Anakin's awkward, but like you can't like Padme. She's just blocky too. Like I don't get it. I don't understand. This scene could have changed the movie for me. I think if it was, I would love to see a rewrite of Attack of the Clones. I would love to see a rewrite. Not like completely scene for scene, but like like change some things around, make it more human, give it a more human element. Like it's just very interesting. Like that's why I really love the sequels as movies because the characters feel like they're human beings. Like the characters feel like they like have actual struggles and actual problems and like they act like normal human beings and like the prequels they don't seem like that. Like it just seems very Star Wars in the prequels. I guess that's cool, but like I don't know, it does seem very grounded to me. Mm. Well, I feel like if this movie could have been a lot cooler if Sifo Dyas and Count Dooku were in the first episode. Does anybody else get that feeling sometimes that like even if Attack of the Clones like stayed, Like, if you had to, there's a million bazillion different ways that people have come up with to rewrite the sequels, to rearrange the sequels. I mean, the prequels, I should say. To rearrange them, work them around, make them two movies, make them one movie. There's a million different things that people have done, but like, why do I get the feeling that even if they just put Count Dooku and Sifo Dyas like together in that first episode, things would have been like different. They would have made more sense because you don't even like you have no connection to these two characters. It just seems strange to me that like they almost had to like restart with episode two. Like episode one, you kill the main villain, you kill one of the main characters, and that's it. Like it almost seems like it was a reset button for episode two, and it just takes away. Like episode two and episode one feel like two completely different movies to me. Like the more you think about it, they're like two completely different movies. And it shouldn't feel like that, you know? Like when I watch the Star Wars original trilogy, they all feel like the same movie. And that's not a bad thing. They feel coherent. They feel like if you could watch them sitting back to back to back, it would feel like one movie. Like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith are a little bit closer, but The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are two completely different movies. And it's weird because they were made by the same team. Here we go. I think this is a great fight. I do like Jango Fett's armor. I think Jango Fett's armor is actually cooler than Boba's. Don't tell any of the OG fanboys I said that though. Mm, it's good. If you're still watching, we're at 1 hour and 1 minute and 15 seconds. I love this scene, man. I love the sounds, first of all. For the next half hour, there's some really great Star Wars sound effects. So, big thanks to Ben Burt and the boys over at ILM, or who does the sound? Skywalker Sound. Almost forgot there. Don't worry, guys. It's not that I don't have anything to say about this scene. I have a lot to say about this scene. I'm just trying to enjoy it. That's my problem with these audio commentaries, guys. Is that like I would love to talk to you guys, but I also feel like I'm bothering you. I don't know what to say. Like I just feel like I don't want to talk over the movie, but like I have to talk over the movie. Does that make any sense? I don't know how this stops Jango Fett. I mean, if he's already sliding down, what's a little thing gonna do there? And how's this stop him? Look at the angle he's on. Jango Fett's definitely going over the edge. How does he not slip off? This has got to hurt Obi-Wan. This has just got to be the most painful thing. Oh, this hurts me to watch. Oh, how do you not dislocate his shoulder doing that? Oh my God, it hurts so bad. All right, get up there, Django. Come on. And how's he hanging on? It's downpouring. Oh my God, this seems crazy. All right, unnecessary force push. You could have just pressed the button, Obi-Wan, but maybe it's COVID times. On Camino, maybe there's a social distancing policy. They can't touch door handles and such. Good time to be a Jedi. He's quick though. He went up like 4 or 5 levels. Ooh, nice. Obi-Wan, a little bit of an arm. Give that guy a contract. Sign him up. Can he hit? Probably. Swings lightsaber pretty good. Oh, here we go. Back to Tatooine. That's the other planet that's got a nice love-hate relationship with Star Wars fans, I think, is Tatooine. Some people love it. I personally really like Tatooine. Like, I love going to these little hamlets, these, Mos Espa and Mos Eisley, but, like, hmm, some people don't like it. Some people think we go there too often. And we do. We go there a lot. I love a good Watto appearance, though. I do love a good Watto appearance. Here he is. I love Watto. Oh, look at that beard. He's gross. It's like Watto gained some weight, too. Could have been pretty cool as a fan, I think, to hear the Lars name now that you're going there. This must have been a really cool little moment to go to the Lars homestead here in a minute at least. I can only speculate as a fan after 2005 what it must have been like watching the prequels in theaters for the first time. My best friend, who was on the Fans Reviews series, Luke, talked about how he saw the prequels when it came out in theaters. He saw this in theaters. We were actually in the same class when this came out, and he went to go see it without me. But if he had seen it with me, maybe I would have liked it. But he talks about going to see them as a kid, but I was never into them. Here we go. This is the best sound effect in Star Wars. I'm not joking. Everybody just sit back and enjoy the seismic charge, please. Here we go. Ooh, it was so good. And if anybody's, we talked about the Oral Knot series last time. If you haven't watched the Phantom Menace audio commentary, we talked about how there are these movies that I can't quote because I only know the Oral Knots quotes. This is one of those scenes that I always think about Oral Knots because he drops these bombs and instead of this loud boom, it's like they have like a bass sound effect because they're having like a sound uh, a sound off. I don't even know what it's called. They have like a bass off and they play tunes in their starships. It's hilarious. It's a had to be there kind of moment, guys. So if you're not laughing, don't feel left out. You gotta go see it if you haven't seen it. The Arlenauts Star Wars series. I love the slave one too. I love the sound effects. They're just so good. Again, big shout out, Ben Burtt and the boys doing their best work on Attack of the Clones. They deserve better than Attack of the Clones. At least we got Revenge of the Sith, right? R4, what a hero. No R4 P17 slander in this household, please. Boba Fett's a sicko, dog. Well, how he laughs after he thinks he kills a Jedi. That guy's sick and twisted. Oh, that you go back to the Geonosis asteroid fields in Rebels. That's one of my favorite Rebels episodes in the Geonosis asteroid field when Zeb and Callus get stuck on the asteroid. That's a good one, man. Hey, I watch Rebels. Time to get on that too, guys. Don't wait for me to tell you. This was after Obi-Wan lands his ship here. He does forget it. He does not get it back. This was part of what, Rogue Squadron 3? There was a mission where you go to Geonosis and you see Obi-Wan's starship. Really cool. Really cool. Rogue Squadron 3, not the best out of the series. Obviously, Rogue Squadron 2 was the best Rogue Squadron game. But Rogue Squadron 3, yeah, kind of crap the bed on that one because you got to get out of the ship and you shoot, and the shooting mechanics are terrible, but that is one of the good moments in that game. I gotta admit. The Lars Moisture Farm, how about this? This must have been so cool as a fan. And here's 3PO. Whoops. I can't believe he's in this movie, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about, too. It's crazy. There's Baru, Blue Milk and all. One of the best Baru stories that I talked about with the Death Star Dispatch on the in the conversation I had with him over on his YouTube channel, but I don't think it was in the video. It might have been off screen. Was we were talking about the from a certain point of view book, and one of the best stories in that book is the Baru Lars story, where essentially she's complaining that she got Luke because she could have been all these different things. She could have been a great restaurant owner in Mos Eisley, but then Obi-Wan showed up by the front door with Luke, and she was all bummed out. And it's one of those stories that you just laugh, and it's a good time. This is a tough scene, though. This is really the beginning of the fall for Anakin Skywalker, I think. And it's funny because you can look at it in two different ways. This scene, I think, is the start of the downfall for Anakin Skywalker. He makes that choice to go after her in that room, that kitchen area. And you can make the argument that in A New Hope, Luke's journey begins in that kitchen area when he makes the decision to run away. I, I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if that was on purpose, but I think it's interesting that Luke and Anakin start going two different ways in their lifetimes in the same room at the Lars homestead. Anakin begins his downfall as Darth Vader, and Luke begins his journey as the Luke Skywalker that we know and love in that same dining room. If you're still watching, we're at 1:14:34, and Anakin's going to head off and try and rescue his mom. This is one of those scenes that was actually really well shot. I love the sunset scene. The more that I watch this movie, it's really interesting because I said multiple times throughout this commentary that I really don't like it, but there are little pieces of it that I really do love. And I think Star Wars as a franchise does a really good job of that. There's not one movie in the franchise that's like absolutely one. I love this shot, by the way, this Jawa shot. There's not one movie that's absolutely 110% dog crap. There is movies that have a lot of bad moments, but even those movies have some moments that are just absolutely outstanding. I think the one movie that does that obviously the most, I think for me at least, is The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. I love looking into The Last Jedi. I love looking, you know, deeper into The Last Jedi. But there are just some things in that movie that I'm just kind of like, that's not great. Like the Canto Bite stuff is cool, but I think it's a little bit off-putting. But there are also some things in that movie that are just awesome. I love Luke. I love the Yoda scene. The space battle in the beginning is so cool. I love the Leia stuff. It's just I don't know. Star Wars does a really good job of that. This scene is a little bit boring for me. This Obi-Wan sneaking around the droid factory, but I didn't realize till I was older, much older actually, that this is supposed to mirror Obi-Wan sneaking around the Death Star, and it's shot very well. I think I realized it on my own. I was like, this guy looks like Obi-Wan sneaking around the Death Star. I didn't have to look like this shot, especially of him like looking around the corner. It just clicked one day. So I'm sure the rest of you figured that out very quickly in your Star Wars lifetimes, but me, took me a couple minutes there. But this is the first time we see Count Dooku in this movie. We were just talking about how Count Dooku is not a villain in this movie that shows up too often. Like he's not overutilized. He's actually underutilized, I think, as a villain. This is the first time we see him. And it's 1 hour and 17 minutes into the movie. First visual appearance of Count Dooku. Wat Tambor. Love Wat Tambor. I don't even know why. Sandhill, who is a backgroundish character in the Darth Plagueis novel that we reviewed on the channel. I like that Darth Plagueis book. That was a good little read. Fun if you're into the Star Wars lore, but other than that, I wouldn't be reading that book. There's Newt Gunray, who's back. That must have been crazy to see in theater. Like, oh, this guy's still around. Now I get back to something that matters. Anakin prowling on the Tusken Raiders. Let me know. Do you guys call them Tusken Raiders or you call them Sand People? I mean, technically they're both. What does it say on my action figure? Let me look. Wow, Anakin slugs. I have a Tusken Raider Sand Person action figure from this movie. It says Tusken Raider, female with Tusken child. So it does say Tusken Raider. How many times can I say Tusken Raider in this one commentary? That's like 6 or 7. God, this is a sad time. Pretty barbaric. Where'd they get that wood on Tatooine? You know, I often wonder if Anakin's mom living through the scene, if that would have happened, if it would have helped Anakin during his fall to the dark side. I wonder if she could have kept him from doing that. I wonder if she was still alive, if Anakin would even think about her. Because the only reason he goes to see her is because he has the visions of her dying. Obviously the Jedi take children from their parents very young so that they grow up as the Jedi having family and they don't have that attachment, they don't have that desire to go back to their family, which was something that Count Dooku felt right to. If you've read Jedi Lost, that he couldn't get rid of his family. His family was just too important to him. Um, I wonder if Anakin would have been different if his mom lived. I guess she would have had to have died eventually. Would he have gotten visions if she had died a more sudden death, like a heart attack, I guess? Do people even have heart attacks in Star Wars? Um, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good shower thought. A good Star Wars shower thought, I guess. It's funny that Mace and Yoda have this whole little thing going here where they feel Anakin having pain and suffering, but they don't do anything about it. Why did they not like reach out to their friend? Why weren't they like, "Hey, is everything okay? What's going on? Can we help?" Never. It's never like, "Oh my God, can I help?" It's always like, "Oh, he's going through pain and suffering," and then it just ends. Nobody does anything. It's frustrating. The Jedi Order, just in this time period, is just horrible. They're just horrible people. No empathy in the Jedi Order. That's what it lacks. It lacks empathy. The Obi-Wan wig and beard, not great. Green screen, not great. Womp rats, those are pretty cool though. This is very much a practical set. You can see it. Looks much nicer than the Obi-Wan set. Anybody ever think about what this feels like for Padme? So like to go to your boyfriend's childhood home and then his mom dies. Anybody think about what that must feel like? Gotta be awkward. Yet she does a good job. She keeps it real, brings him food and such. That's nice. Anakin in this scene, this is one of those scenes that like a lot of people hate on because Anakin gets like super angry for like no reason, but like I can kind of understand where he's coming from. He's this teenager. He thinks the world revolves around him. He's arrogant. He's like a lot of teenagers. He thinks he's invincible, and he's not. And I think that's a very real human quality. And then he searches for someone to blame, and that's Obi-Wan at least for him because that's his only person he can think of. So this scene gets a lot of hate, I think, but it's a pretty, I wouldn't say realistic, but it's understandable the way he's acting. I mean, he just lost his mom. He's a teenager. He's an incredibly powerful young man, and he's a teenager. He thinks he can be better than he is, and maybe he can. Maybe he can, but it's not wrong of him to be angry here. And yeah, he's irrational. And irrational in Star Wars means you killed 3 dozen people, but he's irrational. He's an irrational teenager. And to his credit, his feelings, and I think it's said multiple times throughout the saga, but like his feelings help him and hurt him in the same amount, as much as they have helped him, as much as his feelings being open has allowed him to be such a great Jedi, they've also hurt him. Like now, like he has such passion for being a Jedi and such passion for people. It helps him so much, but right here, it doesn't because he goes down the dark path and does the wrong thing, but he does it because he's angry. Like, he's a human being. And that's falls back on the Jedi, I think, as a whole, too. It's it's interesting because the Jedi kind of indoctrinate kids at a young age. So they learn how to push those feelings down. But Anakin wasn't taken away at a young age. Anakin had 10 years to himself. He grew up a kid. He knew what feelings were. He knew how to express himself. And uh, how do you just tell somebody to stop having expressions and stop feeling deep feelings? That's hard, and it's understandable. Anakin's actions in this movie as a whole are understandable. It's important to choose that word correctly because they're not rational. They're not the right thing to do, but they're understandable. But this movie is about to reach its third act here as soon as we head off to Geonosis and all our storylines start to converge. I don't like that Padme says, "What are you doing here?" as if she forgot that they brought R2 along. It's almost like she's surprised to see that he's like on Tatooine. Padme, you brought him, dog. You brought him with you. I have no comment on Padme's outfit. I will not be commenting on that at this time. You can talk to me at a different time. I don't know why I like this shot here in Coruscant. Oh, not this shot where the droideka comes in. Still cool though. This little scene here in Coruscant's great. Don't know why. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't give you a reason why I think this scene's cool. Maybe it's because there's a bunch of Jedi there. I don't know why they're all hanging out in Palpatine's office. That's a little concerning, but I like that shot. There's a strange tone shift there. They go straight from Anakin saying he's not going to fail. He's not going to fail her again, or something along those lines, and then he's given a golden opportunity to go and help his friend, his mentor, his father figure in his eyes, and he doesn't until Padme urges him to. So that's a little weird, I think. We are recording this on Jimmy Smith's birthday, his 66th birthday. So happy birthday to Jimmy Smits, who plays this very awesome character, Bail Organa. Here's Jar Jar getting worked over. Maybe not the best idea to vote him into office, perhaps. Love this scene. Let's sit back and enjoy this scene between Obi-Wan and Count Dooku, and then I'll talk after. Here we go. This is the best line in the whole movie. Folks, what a scene. What a scene that is. Is he telling the truth? Is he actually urging him to join him? Or does he know that he won't. Here's why I think he is. He literally told him the truth. I mean, he's telling the truth. Uh, it, it's 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 hysterical that Obi-Wan doesn't join him. It's hysterical because Obi-Wan is embodying exactly what the problem is with the Jedi throughout the prequels. They're just so wrapped up in themselves they can't see the bigger picture. But Count Dooku's moved beyond that. Count Dooku's gotten out of the Jedi Order. He's opened up his mind. He's going down the dark path, but he's opened up his mind, and now he sees the truth. He sees that this guy, Palpatine, who we immediately cut to afterwards, which was a genius editing move, that he's the real enemy. I think Count Dooku is not as evil as a lot of people see him as. I think he's definitely the villain. I don't think that he's completely 100% evil. He might be like 80% evil. I think there's a piece of him that's like, there are people worse than me in this galaxy. And that guy is Palpatine. Even though Palpatine is his master, I think it's very suspicious of Count Dooku to ask Obi-Wan. I think he actually thought that Obi-Wan was going to join him. It might be a genius move on Count Dooku's part. It might be. Might be a genius move. Because he knew Obi-Wan wasn't going to believe him. He knew he wasn't. But he tells him anyway. And then, of course, in the Clone Wars, he has that great line where he says, "Oh, I told you everything you needed to know all those years ago on Geonosis." Great line. Great line. If you're still watching 135:31, that's where we're at. We're just showing up to Geonosis. I just got to keep saying that so that everybody knows where we're at. It's hard to get lost in these YouTube commentaries, so in case you went up to grab something, go to the bathroom, miss a couple minutes, 2.5 hours, it's a long time to sit down and watch a movie. But I'm glad that you got me on. I'm glad that we're watching this movie together. I'm so glad that you're subscribed to the channel. Helps me out a lot. You guys have no idea how much it helps when you guys just press the subscribe button, press the like button. Absolutely helps me out a ton. And it's free. It's absolutely free. I like that they got a duck to go in the Geonosis store. That's great stuff. I love 3PO and R2. How do you not have 3PO and R2 in your top 10 characters? Oh no. Here we go. Here's the scene that everybody hates. I think a lot of people hate this scene. The PS4 game scene. The P 2002? Was PlayStation 2 around in 2002? I don't remember. I don't think it was. I think it was just PS1. Where they have to slip through these things. This is one of those things about Attack of the Clones that everybody hates, but I don't know why. It's a little weird, but I I don't know. It's an interesting action sequence. I don't think this is the worst thing wrong with this movie. A lot of people think this is like the worst part of this movie, and I don't think it is. There are far worse things in this movie, like that tone shift from about 20 minutes ago, where Anakin is saying to his mom he can't fail her, and then all of a sudden he is given the golden opportunity to not fail, and he's like, "No, we can't go to Geonosis." That's worse than this. I think this is funny. Padme getting taken away in this big rock barrel. This always freaked me out as a kid. I don't know why Padme getting burned alive in the thing always freaked me out as a kid, but it did. This is funny. I don't know why people don't think this is funny. I love 3PO getting his head switched. You guys are wacky. You guys are just fun killers. This is funny. I wonder why they changed the color of the battle droids for Geonosis. Like, why couldn't they just they're the same everywhere else except for Geonosis? And I don't understand that. I never understand why they needed a whole new battle droid color just for Geonosis. I mean, technically these droids are being shipped out all over the galaxy. Like, isn't that the plan? Like, why paint them the same color as Geonosis if they're going for camouflage? Uh, can someone answer that for me? Does anybody know the answer to that? Because I would love to know. Yeah, right there, that freaked me out as a kid. Why? Why did that scare me? It's not even scary at all. I remember this scene from Lego Star Wars too. A lot of this prequel stuff I always remember from Lego Star Wars. It kind of ends right there when she gets dumped out and Jango Fett shows up. This has got to hurt, right? Anakin having his hand stuck in his battle droid arm. Surely that has to suck. That sucks for sure. So that CGI is really bad. I said on Twitter this is one of my favorite scenes from this movie. Across the Stars, this little moment between Anakin and Padme. I do like this movie. I do like this part a lot. this. It's a little weird, but I do like it. Does that make me weird? Sorry to ruin the moment. I don't know why I like that so much. I just do, guys. I just love when the music swells. So good. So good. I do love the Obi-Wan line too. This movie's about to go from about a 2 to a 10. It's kind of funny how this movie does go from about a 2 to a 10 in the matter of about 10 minutes once they hit Geonosis. This is I love the Geonosis battle, right? Starting right now when these animals start walking out. Actually, no, just kidding. From the time Anakin and Padme wheel themselves out till about the end of the movie, this is a pretty good movie. Not gonna lie to you. I love that Count Dooku's like subtly impressed the whole time. Like, he's like, oh, these guys are actually kind of good. No! And now we get the Padme Geonosis outfit. Nice job, George Lucas. You weirdo. Daniel Logan. Little Boba Fett's such a little sicko. We already said that, but he's such a sicko. He just wants to see people die. That accolade ridiculous. Look at that stone. How do you knock that over? Run, Obi-Wan, dude. This battle's not for you. Look how many Geonosians there are. There's got to be 10. How many Geonosians do you think are in this arena? There's got to be like 10 billion Geonosians. Big sports guys and Geonosians. They're all flying away. Why are they sitting in seats if they can fly? Okay, here we go. This has got to hurt. Oh! Oh, no, no, no. That's got to hurt. This Acklay is ridiculous. Acklay's OP. Acklay OP. Gotta nerf him. Hmm. First time seeing the purple lightsaber? God, that must have been so crazy cool. The purple lightsaber must have been so cool to see in theaters for the first time. I keep saying if I ever have to buy another lightsaber, or if I ever am going to buy another lightsaber, it's going to be the purple one. It's going to be Mace Windu's for sure. I have Anakin's over there in the corner, but I think my next one's going to be Mace Windu's. I can't wait. These two have action figures of two guys that toss the lightsabers. I think that's hilarious. Padme, she's a pretty good shot, huh? Shouldn't C-3PO have control of his body? How does a droid work? What isn't the central control in the head? Shouldn't 3PO be able to control that body? Obviously the battle droid is. Rip Coleman Trevor. So much for such a great Jedi Knight. Mace Windu. Chalk went up for him. Boba Fett, only child now, my friend. What? Wait a minute. Shouldn't 3PO be able to just stop shooting? If he didn't want to shoot? I don't understand that at all. There's a guy with two lightsabers. That's so cool. Obi-Wan, brutal dog. Absolutely brutal. This is a nice little Empire Strikes Back callback. I can't believe all these Jedi died for Anakin and Obi-Wan. Did you ever think about that? Like, all of these Jedi. So many, just for Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. It's crazy to me. Mm. See, Dooku gives off this vibe that he does actually care, but I wonder if he actually does or not. I don't know. Here we go. This movie's about a 10 now. Not the clones have showed up. This is so cool. And then Yoda's riding on the thing. Love it. Oh, you know how many times we played this as a kid. Showed up as clone troopers, just started blasting droids. Like out in the backyard. You know, it is kind of weird that they added this whole Boba Fett storyline into this. It's not really a Boba Fett storyline in this movie, but it's like he's there. Like, why did Boba Fett need a whole, like, moment there to himself to show how he got the helmet? It's just one of those retroactive thoughts, but it's very weird that that character got a lot of backstory and Jabba got almost none in the prequels. No, I'm just drawing a comparison. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is just totally the wrong thing to worry about, but like, did Boba Fett really need to make an appearance in this movie? Did he really need to be there? Who knows? Here we go. Time to go into battle. I love the red ones. The yellow clones are awesome. Battle of Geonos is so cool. I don't even know why, it just is. It's just so massive. I love it. The first Battle of Geonosis, I should say. The second Battle of Geonosis is pretty cool too. You know, fun fact in this movie, there's not one human clone in this whole movie. They're all CGI. Every single clone in this movie is animated. Just learned that the other day too. Keep learning stuff about Star Wars every day. Something new. Paul Lesser looks really good. They must have spent a lot of time on him. And of course, the Death Star. Geonosian built. Attack of the Clones music. Gotta say, Attack of the Clones music is probably in the top, probably four of Star Wars movies. I love Rogue One soundtrack. Empire Strikes Back is up there. Oh boy, I would think that this would maybe be number three. Am I crazy for saying that? Like, am I crazy for thinking that Attack of the Clones music is that good? Because I really do think it is. Here we go. This is one of the coolest shots in the whole movie. I think everybody can agree with me on this. When you see all the clones shooting in the dust. Yes, absolutely one of the coolest scenes in the whole movie. What if people thought Padme died right there? That would have been a horrible ending. It would have been a horrible ending for Padme. Oh, I couldn't even imagine. Here we go. I get to a really interesting lightsaber battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan and Count Dooku. Rip to that clone and the clones in the gunship. But here we go. Very interesting lightsaber duel. I think it's great that they made Count Dooku a lightsaber duelist, like a duel specialist, like he's one of the best. Just as an homage to Christopher Lee's characters from over the years. Obviously, Christopher Lee spent a lot of time with a sword in his hands over the years in the movies, so to make Count Dooku a lightsaber duel specialist, that's a very nice homage to Christopher Lee. Good job, George Lucas on that one. Good job. Appreciate that. Also, Count Dooku's lightsaber ignition sound. Mmm, that's good stuff. I don't like Padme's run right there. It's kind of weird. Nobody ever runs right in these movies. I don't know. Oof. Ooh, that hurts. Anakin with two lightsabers. Very cool. I don't like this whole part where they just swing wildly at each other. Very weird. I think the lighting effect is cool on Anakin's face, so it kind of represents his struggle between the light and the dark, where it flashes between red and blue. Then he loses the arm. Nice homage to Empire Strikes Back. Thank you. One of the things they did away with in the sequel trilogy, no one lost an arm. No one lost a limb. Not that that's a big deal. Not that like losing a limb doesn't mean it's not a Star Wars movie, but a little bit of like, okay, like no one lost a limb. Interesting. Okay, so here's a nice little duel here between Yoda and Dooku. One of the cooler looking fights, I think, in the movies. But if you have been following my channel for a long time, you'll know that my first video was a kind of a video essay on Star Wars Twitter and an argument I got on Twitter about the context and how people don't understand context. And I had mentioned the guy that I got in a fight with about this fight. He didn't understand how the sequel trilogy lightsaber fights look so bad, and they weren't like the prequel fights because the prequel fights look so good. And I just try to explain that the context of the fight is what matters the most to me. Like, why are they fighting? Is it necessary to be fighting right now? And a lot of the sequel trilogy fights have that context. They have that, yes, we need to be fighting. What are the emotions behind the fight? This fight doesn't seem to have any sort of relevant outcome. And the reason I say that is because Count Dooku was about to leave, right? He just beat Anakin and Obi-Wan. He was about to leave. I don't think he wants to kill them. I, I think that he's made that very clear throughout the movie. If you look deeper into his character, that he doesn't want to kill Anakin and Obi-Wan. He's already beaten him. He was about to leave, and then Yoda shows up and then whips out a lightsaber, which is cool. I think it's cool. A lot of people don't think that Yoda having a lightsaber is cool, but I do. But uh, this fight has no it has no meaning because they both live. Count Dooku still escapes. He was going to escape just before Yoda showed up anyway, so what was the point? Like, what was the whole point of this, other than to have, like, this nice little moment where Yoda flips around and has a lightsaber and is really cool for 5 minutes? Now, don't get me wrong. I think it looks cool. I think Yoda is cool in this fight. I'm glad that Yoda has a lightsaber and that he can use one, but, like, this fight has really no point. Am I right or am I wrong? If you've made it this far in the movie, you're really getting some good content here at the end, but I, I, I don't know. Obviously, people are into Star Wars for different things. I like listening to the emotions and the greater themes and contexts behind the movies, and this scene just fails flat. Yoda versus Dooku just falls flat. There's no reason for it, don't care. Looks cool, other than that, no point. And there you go. Dooku has already escaped. Yoda survives, Anakin Obi-Wan survives. Not that someone has to die in a lightsaber fight to make it meaningful, but like, you just added, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes to a movie that you really didn't need. Dooku's ship's always sort of weird to me, but I do like the little solar sails. Pretty cool. I don't know how nobody thought anything was up right here when Padme runs right over to Anakin and is hugging him. That seems a little weird to me. Now we have to go to the evil side of Coruscant. I get it's just the sunset. Like it's just sunset on Coruscant over here, but still, it's the red side. Evil times. Little on the nose there for George Lucas that everything has a red tint. I mean, look at this. Holy cow. Red everywhere. The appearance of the Emperor, though. Very cool. Not the Emperor, just Sidious, but, you know, we interchange them. Emperor Palpatine, Sidious, Sheev, if you're one of those guys. Love this. Mm. At least Yoda's a real one in this scene here at the end of the movie. He realized that this stinks, that they should have never gone down this far. One of the most iconic moments in Star Wars. After that whole movie, which is probably like a 5 out of 10 on the movie scale, they get one of these great Star Wars moments with all the troops marching into the ship and them all lining up here on Coruscant. Really cool. All the acclimators. Bail Organa doesn't like it. Great transition. And we're just about done here. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out if you've watched this whole thing, or if you just skipped to the end to hear me say thank you. Either way, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. Make sure that you leave a like. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you comment. You guys have no idea how much that helps this channel grow. Every time I get a new subscriber, I'm just rejuvenated with energy to make new videos. So thank you so much for supporting me. And hopefully we're doing a 300 subscriber video here soon enough with Revenge of the Sith. This has been an absolute privilege to watch Attack of the Clones with you. Again, not my favorite Star Wars movie. Actually, it's my least favorite Star Wars movie, but we saw some really great moments in this one. And maybe I sparked something in your head. Maybe I made you think about this movie in a little bit of a different way. And if I did, I'm happy. If I didn't, that's okay too. But I hope that you keep tuning in, you keep listening, you keep watching, because I have an absolutely awesome time doing this for you guys. So thank you once again. And there it is. Attack of the Clones over with. Again, thank you guys again for tuning in to the 200 subscriber special, watching Attack of the Clones with me. We'll see you at the 300 subscriber special. Let's hope. Let's pray. We'll be there. Revenge of the Sith coming up next. Again, thank you very much. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.